All right, NMO fans, people, this is Alexlexus coming at you with a interactive type setup because I've always said I want to engage the audience, and my guest here, Shenwu Ramirez Leo, my buddy, I've known him for a long time in the Mugen community, and, I'm having him as a guest while we shift away from the new fighting order stuff, but just to getting into what made NMO big was, the coverage of Mugen and trying to get exposure for our craft. So I just want to...
One thing I gotta say.
Go ahead.
One thing I gotta say. Most people will remember me by my name, Saul Bad Guy Z. What's going on, Mugen-guild?
Oh, yeah. Well, and Mr. Soul Bad Guy, Shenru, he had my back for a long time during I would say, the dark days of Goken. And, there's a lot of things that are going to get expressed here. So if somebody gets put on blast, guess what? I don't give a flying fuck. Fuck you guys, some of y'all that really rode my shit, and I pretty much, and I wish Anomaly was, with us, because he was with me, he was like my battle buddy through the trenches. You had Adam from Xbox Live, Wolfar when he was still part of the community, and it's just, I just wanted to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'm going to give Soul Bad Guy some time in a few seconds. But the good thing with the Mugen community, as far as I'm concerned, is the infinite possibilities to create things. Ordinarily, Capcom, SNK Playmore, Midway, or now NetherRealm Studios, whatever you felt that you weren't going to get, you can create it. In terms of editing your sprites and what have you. And whether people know it or not, Mugen does play a big part in the fighting game community, because when I went to Comic-Con in 2010 and met Seth Killian, and this man flat out told me that, yes, they look at Mugen stuff. Hell, my Goken, he knew about my Goken before I give him any credit for it, because I was trying to do like a little thing, and so bad guy, you'd be surprised. I asked him, I said, you know what, Street Fighter Online is about to come out, such and such, can we stick my sprites in there as an Easter egg? And unfortunately, what people don't know, as much creative stuff that the Mugen community has to offer, there's a liability issue that happens, because whether Capcom originally made the sprites or not, like for instance, my Goken is an edit of Akuma, some sprites from Ken, Ryu, and whatnot. People don't know that you would have labor rights. You can technically try to sue, and Capcom tries to stay away from that stuff. So it's just, you'd be surprised. But, that's one thing, without me going on a tangent. Mugen is very influential, and I remember...
I do wonder, though.
Mm-hmm.
Question real quick. If you were to sign a waiver, you think that might...
I was willing to do that. I was like, Goken's not my intellectual property, but I was the first to kind of make him in the Third Strike sprite base. I remember Doi was the one that inspired me to make that Goken, and then I remember when I started doing my hacked edits with the sprites when I was doing it with a mouse click. Then one day, all of a sudden, he did the facelift for Goken. I was like, holy shit, But yeah, signing waivers is one thing, but I don't think Capcom wants to chance it. But you'd be surprised. You'd be very surprised. They are avid followers. Their R&D team looks. And this is why, they need to come out with quality stuff, not with bullshit like Rare Akuma. And then, even though I was part of the Ascended Mugen project, you had that Ryuken who was just like almost unstoppable. But without going off on a tangent, so Bad Guy, what are some good things that come out of the Mugen community? Because we're going to cover everything, including the ugly stuff. And we're going to be name dropping too. So if I make enemies, fair enough. I already got them, as you know, Soul Bad Guy. But, you got the floor. What are some good things that come out of our community?
Well, let's see. You mean from all time or just basically anything recent?
Well, you can say, like, you can break it into, like, all time and then more recently. And, you know, just going into different eras, because Mugen is really developing, like longevity. A lot of content has come out over the years.
Well, let's see. The good thing that come out of Mugen. One, it gives... Well, let me go straight with the content itself. First of all, it gives you the pleasure of playing around with characters from fighting games. Other fighting games, you can just pit them up against other fighting games. It's just like, it's ridiculous. The huge
dream matches.
Biggest dream match you could ever have, ever. I mean, anywhere, man. And it's like, and you'd be surprised how many of these characters can actually fight, on balanced levels with each other, because I have a pretty balanced Mugen myself. I mean, there's some fucked up shit in there, I know that, but god damn, think about it like this. Who do you think would win out of Guilty Gear and CVS2 characters?
I would say the Guilty Gear characters. Holy shit, So Bad Guy is like...
Wrong!
Well, game-wise or story-wise? What, gameplay-wise? Well, yeah. Gameplay-wise, it depends. I mean, I don't know.
See, now that's the thing. People see Guilty Gear and they think, oh my gosh, look at the amount of ways they can attack and all that kind of stuff. They can rush you, keep you down in the corner all goddamn day long. And then once they start actually hitting you, your life bar just gone. Mm-hmm. But funny thing, CVS2 characters actually beat out Guilty Gear characters. Their priorities are actually way too high for Guilty Gear characters. I mean, like, there's been times when I play against my buddy Steve Harrison. He's a big name on the East Coast as far as CVS2 and Guilty Gear. You can actually look him up on the current Guilty Gear stream at NEC, I believe it was.
Okay.
And yeah, I would be throwing my controller at the wall because this motherfucker is just painting the fence with me with his bison, and I'm Saul bad guy. I'm like, you can't do that to Saul, man. Fuck that bullshit.
Yeah. Or AKA Frederick.
Yeah. Because I actually taught him how to play the fucking game Guilty Gear, and then he went up to become a big name on the East Coast for Guilty Gear too. Mm-hmm. I kind of like retired for that, but we still get to play every once in a while. And I scrub the floor. I'm the only person who can actually scrub the floor with that guy on a regular basis and stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
You were saying something about priorities, not to cut you off. I know what you mean in terms of certain like moves like dragon punches with invincible frames and things of that nature.
Oh no, this is just normals. Normals.
But here's the thing with Mugen stuff though, that's also with the way the characters are mimicked. Like if they're not mimicked properly, you never know. You know what I mean? Like, the only way we would truly know if Capcom and SNK or Arc Systems go and actually recreate their characters in Mugen, then we can, like, make the decisive thing and say, hey, Guilty Gear characters get beat out by, Capcom SNK guys. You know what I mean? Like, you never know because we're the ones recreating it. Do we accurately recreate them?
That's a great point. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, even if like certain things are off in maybe some core states, but the thing is, the overall gameplay is still there. It shouldn't be that big of a difference between the real thing and what's going on with it, especially seeing that these are Japanese coders and that these Japanese coders, they get it in themselves. I mean,
Warosaki is one of them, right? He recreated all the...
For goodness sakes.
Yeah, Warosaki, and there was another one, I'm trying to remember.
GM, right?
Yeah, GM, oh my god, his Third Strike characters are dead on, like CPS3 perfect. Holy shit. I mean, hell, that was, his Akuma was literally what birthed my Goken. Like, I looked at that code, and I was like, oh man, this guy had it right. And when I used the Fighter Factory template to recreate, I'm like, man, I couldn't even get it as close as what GM did. I mean, hell, props to you, bro. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But back onto the main point again, you're saying like, okay, now we already covered like dream matches. You also get the sense of actually how. It also helps you. Mugen also helps you get a sense of how it feels to actually, create these characters, learn these fighting styles, learn all these different ways to attack and stuff like that, and then also balancing the game. That's the big thing right there.
This is true.
Hell yeah.
I learned, let me tell you, so I learned big time. Like, when I first released my Goken, I was like, I want all this stuff in there. Yeah. And then, when I released them, and then, my former nemesis, Tengu, who actually became my friend, people don't know, I'll tell that story later. It's like, I had to see that, okay, what I might be interpreting as awesome may not be practical, and people used to think I was extremely defensive. I mean, there's a way to tell somebody that, hey, you need to fix that, instead of like bashing them. I remember all those videos that they put out and all this other, oh my God. But once I started seeing it from a developer's standpoint, I said, damn, you know what? I want all this stuff, but will it be practical? Can I put this stuff in without breaking the system? And the Goken didn't have a particular system. It was just like the mix of games that I like to play, like the Versus Series, Third Strike, and then Street Fighter 4 and what have you. So balancing it's like a tightrope, and you have to make sure that, hey, Goken was meant to fight certain characters, but then when you have them fighting other people, then you see all kinds of crazy shit. You know what I mean? And it's just, that balancing is a very, very thin line to walk on. Do you agree with that? Like, from the developer's eye?
Kinda not. Thing is, like, when it comes to balancing global Mugen, you shouldn't really give too much of a fuck unless you have like a certain standard, like you're trying to fit in with. Because of course you're not going to have like something. You're not going to have a guy who's normal, just a normal basic fighter. He's going to come out on top of what the fuck was that shit called? Omni-Site Justice. Ever heard of that shit? The rare Kuma throwing everything but the fucking sink and shit. I saw that look on your face just now.
Let me tell you, that rare Kuma, you see, it's shit like that. And they say, hey, it's a joke character, fine and good. Yeah, ha ha ha. I put my anti-codes in there, and then somebody put anti-codes against my anti-codes, and it just kept escalating, and that's a whole nother thing. But it's something where, you see, Mugen, if done properly, if programmed correctly, that thing can be taken real seriously. Like, what was that? Do you remember with Red Navy and Sin from Club Syndicate? That's my boy. I love that man. Me and him did some collabo in the past, and with that CVS 2W pack that goes with Warasaki's characters, I bought that to East Coast Throwdown, what was that, a couple of years ago, and did you know people thought that was a real game? They thought that was like a CVS 3 expansion. If you do it right, Mugen can look like fucking legit shit, even with Scruffy Dragon, and how, I was going in with me and Rawan too. We're going and making the tag code, and I went and I edited it, and we made something even better. And it was like, okay, we took DC versus Marvel, their project, we put our code and made something completely new, and it plays a lot like Marvel vs. Capcom Origins mixed in with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and people are just like, yo, where can I buy this game? If done right, Mugen can be, like, the sky's the limit. And in Japanese, it means infinite possibilities. So if people are fucking around and making dumb characters, and it's just gonna make that negative stigma, that negative black cloud over Mugen's head, where hey, it's nothing but broken characters, which is not true. Which is not true at all.
Not true. I mean, I made it like my whole career, my Mugen career, to find all the good, well-coded characters and just put them into one big archive that I have. And it's a huge archive I got right now, full of CVS 2 characters, Street Fighter 3 characters, Guilty Gear Arcana. I don't even remember all the goddamn names, I swear to goodness.
You know what? Before I didn't want to lose track, because for time's sake, because YouTube, even though I got unlimited time, we're in an ADD society. People don't want to see things for too long, so we're gonna come back to the good parts of Mugen. But now switching gears, what are the ugly things about Mugen besides broken characters and just certain personalities in the Mugen community? Because I'm gonna caveat on what you're gonna say, because I'm gonna just drop bombs on people. But go ahead.
There's nothing you can say other than the community itself. It's just full of fucking retards. I swear to goodness. You got coders, genius fucking coders, who can code their asses off but can't play a fucking fighting game worth shit. And then they get upset about about fighting game community guys coming into the community to try to tell you guys, oh, your shit is broken, dude. I mean, you need to do this, that, the other thing. Goddamn, make it more like the original, and then have your extra shit on the side as a maybe like hold start at the fucking select screen or something like that. I mean, you start off with a base first. Go with that, make it as accurate as you can, and then deviate with it from there. I mean, because every time you add extra shit, you may be like unbalancing the character. I'm looking at P.O.T.S Geese Howard, and it's like, for fuck's sakes, what the hell is wrong with this goddamn creation? He's breaking all the fucking rules, can parry, roll, all that shit, and
but I have to admit, P.O.T.S characters are pretty cool.
They're good. They're well made.
There's some of the best, actually, if not the best. How can I say, CVS characters that have some original flair to them. Because Warasaki just gave you what is already produced by another company. P.O.T.S has some original elements in it. Yeah,
some extra stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I've seen some of the other stuff with Holding Star or trying different. I mean, it's just.
Oh no, actual extra moves too. That's what I mean.
Oh, you know what? In the CVS 2W pack by Navy and Club Sin, I know Rugal had a couple. I get what you're saying, but with P.O.T.S, even though he had all this extra stuff, my Goken kind of was inspired by that. I have a lot of things. I took out rolling, the CVS rolling, because it's like, all right, that's just too much. You know what I mean? It should be like a limit to what you're putting in there. I had to learn it, but
everything. That's right.
Yeah, because then it's like it'll suffer for your character or your game. If you go as far as creating a full game, it's going to suffer from jack of all trades but master of none. You know what I mean? Because remember how Street Fighter Cross Tekken, you have gems, you have Pandora, you have tagging, too many fighting mechanics in one particular game. Who's going to sit there and take the time to try to really, you know what I mean? You have to.
That's pretty much why they went with Blaze Blue instead of Guilty Gear. Too many systems. The fighters who play Guilty Gear are too old nowadays. What the hell kind of shit was that?
Well, here's the thing. Actually dabbling back into the good things with Mugen, Blaze Blue, you have a whole new roster of characters created by, the creators of Guilty Gear, and it just kind of gave Guilty Gear some breathing room, because they were pumping out way too many Guilty Gear games, and each new game was eating Guilty Gear itself, the story arc itself.
Actually, I've been with Guilty Gear since the very first game.
Since Missing Link on the PlayStation. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
And I'm telling you, though Guilty Gear was not suffering from as much of that straining, the beating a dead horse type of thing. It wasn't doing it half as bad as Capcom is doing with Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Super Street Fighter 4 and all that kind of stuff. They actually, it took them at least 1 or 2 years between each game. Mm-hmm. And after Slash, it took about, I think, 2 years before we heard about AC or Accent Core or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then, it's like 4 years later, and now we're first getting to hear about Accent Core plus R. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think that they were straining Guilty Gear too much. Mm-hmm. It's just that, there were some problems with intellectual property stuff with Sega and all that kind of stuff.
I think that they had temporarily lost faith in the franchise, and that's why BlazBlue exists, because Sega had the rights to Guilty Gear, but I would just, I almost lost my train of thought with BlazBlue in Guilty Gear and Mugen, you can actually throw those characters and have them fight each other
all together.
You know what I mean? That's the beauty of it. Just the beauty of it.
That's an idea that Steven wants me to do all the time. I tell him to go fuck off. he wants to have Guilty Gear versus BlazBlue. I cannot stand Tao Kaka. I do not want to fight that girl on even grounds with Saul Bad Guy. No, joke characters should remain joke characters. I'm sorry, I cannot take that bitch seriously.
Well, you do have. Let's say you had a dream match between the two franchises or the IPs, right? Hey, you got Ragnar fighting Soul Bad Guy. I would like to see. You have Kai versus what is it? Is it Jin? Then you got freaking Iron Tiger versus Potemkin. Oh my God, that would be freaking, awesome. The Devil with magnetism versus freaking Soldier of Fortune. You know what I mean? I mean, they can do some pretty cool things with that. We got Eno versus who could we stick her up against?
Eno versus shit. I don't know a girl.
Lychee maybe. Mia Rage versus
Jam.
Oh, Jam. See, you see what I mean? Yeah. That's what I mean. You can do. The possibilities are limitless. You can do so much, and you just gave me an idea. I might start pulling characters together and see what I can do with that. Hell, I might even do a tag version of that. We'll see. We'll see. But now, with the community, like you were saying a few minutes ago, the community is its own worst enemy. Give me specific.
Well, the thing is, like I said, they're genius coders, but they suck at playing the actual games. Mm-hmm. Now, you got the people who actually play the actual games, very good at it, but they can't code for shit. So they come over.
I fell into that. I had to learn to code from my teacher Shinra and others along the way. I mean, I started playing. I was a tournament player before, and then I was like, hey, let me make a character. So I get what you're saying. I fall into that category.
The problem is, with the fighting game community, you have a lot of assholes. And with a lot of assholes, you have the potential for trolling, and I mean really big trolling. I mean, it's going to happen, period. So, and then when you go back to the other side of the community, you have all these coders and stuff. They're used to all this sugar-coated, oh, you respect me, you do all this.
The ass kissing.
Keep everything you say. Yeah. You gotta say nice things all the time. You gotta be a contributor. You can't leech, all that kind of shit. Go to my website and download the character. Don't go warehousing and all that. First of all, when it comes to the internet, fuck all your rules. I think there's a saying I came up with. It's like a tangent, like a spin-off of Rule 34, where if it exists, there's porn of it. Well, let's kind of alter that for a second. When it comes to the internet, if whatever sensibilities you have will be violated, period. So you can't you cannot come onto the internet and think, oh, well, I'm going to make all these rules and you're going to have to abide by them, or I'm going to take all my cake and leave and you ain't going to have any. No, fuck that. We'll fuck with you and you'll leave anyway, and fuck it, we'll find somebody else who'll do it. And this is what's the problem with Mugen. You got these coders, they got all these sensibilities, they have all these prerequisites for you to be able to like deal with be able to get the stuff that you want out of them, and that's not going to happen. This is why there's a big rift between the fighting game community and Mugen. This is why the fighting game community thinks that Mugen players, Mugen coders are all fucking dipshits who can't fucken play a video game. They're all noobs. They're all fucking scrubs. Can't do shit. Want to make 3,000 versions of Goku and fucking Ryu and Ken.
Oh my god, yes. Yeah. And you see, like, that's another issue I have. Clones and stupid edits and, like, for instance, like, you hit the nail right on the head, like, 3,000 clones of Ryu. Like, okay, make something new. Now, you see, what got me into Mugen was when I saw people like Rubenki's work, when he had the Evil Ryu, Evil Ken, freaking Dragon Claw. I mean, at that time, that was unique. That was like, holy, that's freaking awesome. So that inspired me to make characters like Goken, who is not ordinarily seen, you know what I mean? Like Asura, where, you know, I'm trying to make something that came from the ending of CVS 2. And, you know, things like Dante, at the time that I was doing Dante, I was the first to make the attempt to get him playable on a 2D platform. I might have failed in doing so, but the attempt was there, and hopefully it laid down the framework for those other guys that went ahead and did it. You know, so it's just...
Shit was fun in beta stage. I was fucking around with it. It was fun.
And you know, the new beta that I have, I mean, it has a lot more shit in it, but, you know, the community can demoralize you with how negative they can be, you know, and I still work on him in private, but it's just like, damn, you know, I don't want anybody to kiss my ass and say, hey, if it's a crappy thing that, you know, I'm doing my best to create, fine. I know it's shit. But I don't need an extra reminder like, hey, you fucking suck, go kill yourself, or, you know, like that guy who sent me the virus and fucked up my computer, and I lost 2 characters. I had Dan at 60%. I'm like, man, fuck it. I'm not going to do it no more. I'll tell you offline. I mean, like, I was out of commission for about a week. Lost a lot of Mugen work as a result. But it's like, why do we eat each other in terms of, hey, you're my community brother, and you're a creator, you're playing something I'm just putting out there. I'm sharing it. You're not paying me.
Well, I got a way around that if you'd like to check that out. So if they'll send you a virus and nothing will happen this time. So you can be more trustworthy when after you're done with me, or, you know, offline.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. But like what I was just saying, like, you know, the community tends to turn on itself. Now, Anomaly likes to quote famous movies, and, you know, just to pay homage to him. Do you remember the scene when Joker was talking to Batman when he got caught in the Dark Knight, and he said, "These civilized people, you know, given time, they'll eat each other." That's literally what the community does. You know, I mean, I swear, you got somebody who's up and coming, trying really hard to establish themselves, and then you got other guys prepared to tear them down. Like motherfuckers like Raja. I hate that motherfucker. You know what I mean? And
I feel bad that I ever, like, pumped his head up and got him to that point.
Now, let me tell you, he's a good coder.
Some other people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. Now, if it wasn't for me and other couple people, like when we were like hanging out on our gang, he would never be this fucking popular. He has a lot of people to thank for where he's at right now, and he's got to be the worst fucking ass kisser, pretender motherfucker I've ever seen in my goddamn life. I mean, I used to think he was cool. He was so cool back in the day, and now you see what he really's like now. I mean, for fuck's sake.
Let me tell you something. I've never known Raja to be a nice person on the forums with his comments towards me or whatever. I mean, hell, that whole video, I was accused of being a racist for doing the How Can She Slap video. I mean, oh my God, that turned into the whole shitstorm. I said, damn, you know what? Let me tell you something. A guy like that, once he started becoming like an admin and whatnot, I knew my days were numbered at, mugen-infantry and the guild. I was like, you know what? Because I was like prime suspect number one, and I had a bullseye right on my head just because, hey, I was willing to stand up for myself and not have people just, disrespect me as a person outside. You can hate my characters, put all those stupid videos up there on YouTube, but when it comes down to somebody trying to shut you down, on every level, I'm like, yeah, I stopped giving him importance. That's why on the show back then, I stopped talking about him, but this is just given history and part of the whole thing where you have some ugly people in the Mugen community, and he's apex asshole number one. That's why, in part, I took a 2-year hiatus. I was in Iraq. I didn't do much. I've been back home for now going on 11 months. I'm still taking my hiatus. I'm working on my stuff in private, but my outlet now is the NMO show. I don't need to go too much into the forums if I don't have to, but that guy kind of really put me in a cage, and it's like, okay, all he did by trying to shut me up on the forums was help me push harder to make sure that my YouTube brand became what it is. Like, me and Mugen Lord are trying to do our very best to make sure that Mugen has a video outlet out there. One day I would like to partner with him, drive out to PA and say, hey, what's up? Let's do a joint thing. You know what I mean? Now, I bet you guys like Raja, what would he do to contribute to the community like I've tried to do? You get what I'm saying?
Shit.
So I'm like, I can't be that bad that, I'm trying to, put the community that hated me at one point so much. Like, I was just like, damn, why was I even doing it when you got people, like, even back then, I know Wild Tango was trolling me, because after talking to that guy, somebody who I would have thought that would have been my worst enemy, if I saw him in real life, I wanted to choke the shit out of him, and then now I can call that guy friend. You know what I mean? Raja probably should have taken the time to say, hey, you know what? Hey, this is just E-drama. All right? This is E-drama. Let's not even, sweat this. Bam. It is what it is. I tried to be the nice guy, but, I mean, hell, I must have been the hottest ticket in the Mugen community for the longest time. Any place that I posted, Renegade Mugen, and you know why that forum failed? The minute I left, I said, you know what? How about this? I'm not going to post in there anymore. All of a sudden, I noticed I was in Iraq, and I went to just check out the forum to see if there are any hate, threads, Alexlexus, this or that. The forum's gone. I mean, okay.
Well, dude, I was one of the founders of the Renegade Mugen. Well, not founder, but I was one of like the original people who migrated over to that place when the Jerk store got closed down at Mugen-infantry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, pretty original name, Tidon. I mean, seriously, fuck the Jerk store. What the fuck out of it, man. Anyway, we moved over to Renegade Mugen, and the first thing they started doing after after we broke away from Mugen-infantry was allow Mugen-infantry mods to fucking run the place.
Yeah.
I'm like, seriously, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck was the point of fucking breaking away from that place? We're going to have more of the same bullshit here.
It was Mugen-infantry part 2. That's all it was. That's all that was. Holy hell, man.
Yeah, I didn't understand why they did that dumb shit. So, I mean, that is what I think actually contributed to the death of that place. Other than also he didn't pay for the the hosting or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but karma's a bitch. Karma's a bitch. Like, if people are indulging themselves in negativity, you're doomed to fail. You know, that's why, if you notice, remember, there was a time where people were trying to say negative things. I tried to ignore them, and I tried to stay positive and everything. Hey, I'm still around. And a lot of them probably aren't even in the community anymore, or what have you. You know what I mean? So, it's just... Unfortunately, there's a lot more negative things going on in the Mugen community in terms of the people than there are good things, but let's not lose sight of those good things. Like, for instance, right now,
they're still ruining stuff. They're still ruining stuff.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Recently, there was a big falling out over Alexlexus being slow to update Mugen 1.1, and what
the state zooming thing, right? Or are they supposed to? Okay.
Yeah, the dumbass coders were given, they were privately given the fucking program so that they could test it out and, just see everything going on. And
I know LeQuack had it.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then here comes this fucking dumb shit. They decide, oh, you guys are being too fucking slow in updating this Mugen 1.1, so you know what? We're going to leak this shit.
Really? Wow, yeah, I've been away for a minute. I've been away for a while, so I didn't know that got leaked.
I think this happened real recently, within the last 2 months.
You see, shit like that is gonna make Alexlexus go away because and that's like, wow, what the hell, man? And 1.0 is a great thing. Once you learn how to really navigate around it, that's actually better than any of the Mugen engines that they released in the past. I mean, hell, it's easy to convert all your old Mugen stuff into 1.0. Like, that's all my Mugen games that you saw on the NMO channel are all 1.0 now. All of them. So for them to do that, they're really gonna fuck up the source and make unbelievable. And they don't. And here's the thing. They're too slow to update. You're not paying these guys. You're not paying them. They're doing this.
Shit is free.
Yeah. So why are you gonna give them any shit? Why are they gonna give you, me, or any of the other creators shit? You know what I mean? We're doing this to share to a community. Unbelievable. Let me tell you. I think nowadays, just gamers, consumers in general, or just community members of Mugen, it's just, a lot of us are complaining. Hell, I complain a lot about Street Fighter Cross Tekken and other games and such, but I have the right to do that because I'm paying for it, But when it comes to something like this, damn, just shut up and enjoy that people are giving up their free time to create something for your enjoyment. And since Mugen is so open-ended, go ahead and edit the character privately and make it the way that you want it. That's what I did. Hell, I mean, there's a lot of characters I'm like, you know what? I don't like this. I go in there and I changed it. And once I started learning how to edit, I said, you know what? I'm going to start making characters. And bam, there goes Dante. And there goes Goken. There goes Asura. Dark Sean. And all these other whips that I had in the past. You know what I mean? Some of them are just a little too fickle, as one of my former business partners, Rod Lane with King of the Couch, would say. He's like, the fighting game community got a lot of people who are, I want this, I want that, but what are you doing to contribute, or how are you constructively giving criticism and suggestions to make sure that your voices are heard in a manner where you're not being ignored? If you start acting like a child or like a little bitch, or acting like little Raja with vaginitis or whatever, no one's going to listen to you. No one's going to listen to you, But that's my little rant there. I'll give you the floor.
I don't even remember what we were on, actually. I was complaining about the community. Mugen Fighters Guild. Biggest, would you agree, biggest Mugen place to go to?
Yeah, them and Infinity Mugen team. That's where I'm most active right now. But yeah, Mugen Guild is like the place to be right now. In terms of the Mugen.
Okay, so it's got to be the most ironic fucking place ever, and they're the ones who most deserve that karma you were talking about earlier. They deserve it so bad, and it's already bitten them in the ass at least 2 or 3 times in the past before. I remember Byakko being, you know Byakko, right?
Yep. I had some of his characters.
Oh yeah, I remember back when he was they were shit too. That's the funny thing. They were shit.
There were some cool aspects to them, like his Ryo.
Oh, I know there was, but it's still there were some mistakes in them that were like seriously like amateurish at best, man. I'm telling you.
But I won't knock him because I made the same mistakes too, you know. So I mean, I know what you're saying.
I haven't even started yet, and I'm still knocking him.
All right.
So if you want me to get back on that sometime, just make a little mental note.
We're probably gonna do like a part 2 because I didn't realize we went into 40 minutes, and you know I normally do like a 50-minute show and try to do editing, but you know, yeah, I'll let you finish this, and then we'll probably lead into the next one. I mean, I like to do this once a week, and you know, just to make sure that the Mugen community has a voice and. If you want to invite others to join, you know, our little Mugen podcast or community podcast, hey, that's great. I want more of you guys, more of you viewers to physically or, virtually get involved with the show. You know, I mean, voice your opinions. If you want to get on here and cuss me out, hey, just be ready to feel the fire afterwards. I'm just saying. But, you know, I'll give you the floor before we start to wrap up.
Yeah, so Mugen Fighters Guild, I mean, for me it was the beginning part. It was the beginning of Mugen for me, was that fucking place. And I went there back in 2004, I believe, or even earlier, maybe 2002. And okay, this was during the what the hell you want to call it, the dark ages of the Mugen community, where it was at its worst. I mean, for good crying out loud, piracy and warehousing shit and motherfuckers being outcasted and shit from day one. And you remember Baby Barney Hood and shit? You remember him?
Oh my God!
You remember that guy?
That was early on because I remember I got into the community around 2000, 2001 ish, and I remember they did that to Club Sin or Syndicate. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, they did that to him at mugen-infantry. And he got banned for life or some shit. I'm like, what the fuck you banned Sin for? That guy makes some of the best interactive stages ever. You know what I mean? Hell, he made the TMNT mini game. He got all kinds of crazy shit, you know, but why would you do that?
That's what I'm telling you, dude.
Unbelievable.
This was back when Byakko was in charge. I remember that time where I got into fights with him and stuff like that, and I had to fucking leave the community because as soon as he fucking started, I tried to make my argument, my case against this whole warehousing shit. It's like, dudes, you guys don't need to fucking like get so upset about this crap. First of all, you're just a forum, man. Why are you going to police the goddamn shit? I mean, it's like copyright infringement.
Yeah.
You're just a community. Let the guys who are having their little copyright infringement, warehousing bullshit, let them deal with trying to take down the people and all that kind of crap. And then as soon as that kind of crap, as soon as I tried to get that point across, I mean, all of his little fucking marred buddies and all of it just ganged up on me, ran me right out that thread. Now I look at it, it's kind of funny, but damn. And now I realize what Byakko is nowadays. He's just a fucking idiot with no goddamn kind of, information to back anything up that he's got. They're just idiots. Now, you remember how, I think it was like 2004, 2005, when Mugen Guild admins decided, you know what, fuck all this shit. We're not going to police the community anymore. And so many people rage quit, and they barred.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was just,
Unbelievable. Do you remember that time where all the creators banded together and did that fake quitting thing? I remember Clemson had was releasing his
I wasn't there for that.
Yeah, it was something where he released that Strider with the Battle Cat helper. Like, he was actually on screen, you can use him. And he released it, and it was like, okay, it was like round one, fight. Then he turned into a banana, and it was like peanut butter jelly and a baseball bat. And they're like, yeah, you couldn't use it. It was just like a prank character, and it said that this is for all you guys who are warehousing and all this other stuff. The whole warehouse issue thing. Before I go into conclusion, is this: people make things. People are gonna counterfeit things. There's nothing you can really do about it because it's the risk you take when you release your stuff. I know for a fact my Go.Ken has been warehoused all over the fucking place. Like, I Google search and I see old versions of Go.Ken that I lost when my hard drive crashed. I'm like, oh wow, really? The Go.Ken that had the shitty beard, the fucked up forehead and everything. I'm like, damn, really? Then I type in Dante. I go in, I see my Dante with edits and shit and all kinds of, I'm like, hey, well, he's open source now, so I don't raise a stink. I kind of get that because me as an artist as well, I wouldn't want my work just stolen and distributed in a way where it's like, damn, you know what? Yeah, Dante, come get it from my site. They use other people's work to get individuals to visit their site so that maybe somebody's making money off the hits off that site or something. Who knows? But I kind of see it from the people who don't want warehousing. I see it from their point of view. But then I also see it from your point of view. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, Capcom suffers losses, EA, BioWare, these legitimate companies, they know whenever they release a PC game, there will be a BitTorrent on it. You know what I mean? Assassin's Creed, I know I'm not going to say their names. They already had the game before the shit came out. You know what I mean? It's like you have to just live in the reality of the internet. You said it best. It's the internet.
And, like threatening to leave and shit like that.
Well, guess what they're going to do? Bye-bye. There's nothing you can do.
I mean, not only that, it also just shows when you threaten to leave and take down all your characters, it shows that you yourself are a bitch too. Because see, you're gonna leave all your fans like behind just because one motherfucker went behind your back and started, taking your shit. I mean, come fucking on, man. I mean, you have to have some kind of backbone.
What I say with that, like, somebody. The only person that I really kind of gave permission to edit my Go.Ken, actually two people, Mr. Infinite and Blood Riot Iori, right? I'm honored because they saw that my work was, although not perfect, but hey, you did something real cool. I want to commemorate it. I'm going to do something on the side. Take it as an honor. Take a bow. Somebody, you're laying the framework for somebody to do some cool things. So that just, and I'm getting, remember that thing that I mentioned to you, that my little appointment at 10 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, I had to conclude, but this is our first installment of the NMO community overview of the mugen community. We had to name drop.
And my plans to help rebuild it.
Now, on the next installment, there's a plan that So Bad Guy has that I want him to, display to the world and see if we can come together to kind of start anew. And what I mean by this is like, okay, let's recreate a database, a place where people can share information, talk to one another without all the nonsense. We got to come together or we're doomed to tear things apart. So thank you for being on, this little NMO subsidiary under the New Fighting Order. You're always welcome on my podcast. And, I've always valued your support in the past at mugenguild when people were getting on me and stuff. And, I always like to do collabos. Please try to get other creators, try to coordinate so we can actually get in here and actually, talk about, what we see happening down the pipeline for Mugen, and we'll just go on from there. So do you have any words for the audience before we log off?